Welcome to another episode of the Weekly Wednesday Warrior, sponsored by Power Card Games and Comics Support You in New York. My name is Skylar Hathaway.
I'm Chris Potter.
We're here at the shop. We have a 2 comic book week. It could have been 4 comics because we have a couple of honorable mentions first and foremost.
Yeah.
My honorable mention would be Avengers number 4. We've done, I think, every issue except for we missed one because
I was doing something.
we were just busy.
Yeah.
But we've hit almost every issue of Avengers. This one's not making it onto the show just because we think World's Finest and Guardians of the Galaxy were better comics.
Yeah.
Avengers 4 is fine. I think it's still in the phase of ramping up. And it's coming off of another Avengers book that went on for near 80 issues if you tie everything together.
Yeah.
So it's really unfair for this book.
And pretty different tonally too. There's not like a seamless transition between one to the other. I don't think
it's not rough. There's some
it's not the actual transition, but story-wise. I feel like if you're a fan of Jason Aaron's run, it's not like, oh, you're gonna love McKay's run.
They almost have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah. There's not a lot of crossover audience-wise.
No, there's just some connective tissue, really.
Yeah.
But the book is cool. The thing that really draws me away from the book is still the artist at some point. He's warming up on me a little bit every issue, but C.F. Villa, it's not Villa, it's probably C.F. Villa.
Yeah.
Just not my favorite. I really think they could have put somebody else on here that would have sold the book a little bit more. But I guess an Avengers title might sell by itself, so they don't need to put their big bangers on there or something.
You don't need Marco Cicchetto to sell.
I guess not. And he's hot. He's hot, but he's only hot because of Daredevil. Before that, Marco Cicchetto was relatively.
Oh yeah, no, he was doing stuff. I just I randomly find out he's been doing stuff. Same with Stegman, Superior Spider-Man. I had no idea that was him until I had already read Venom and stuff.
Yeah. Sometimes you just get an artist on something and finally shine.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that that's the case for C.F. Villa. We got to find some other placement for him because this isn't working.
Yeah, I've seen him on X-Men stuff. They're alright.
Yeah, maybe he's just all right. Then we got
Ghost Rider, Wolverine, Weapons of Vengeance, Alpha 1. This is a fun book. Wolverine Ghost Rider crossover. Cool cover by Ryan Stegman. The interior art's okay.
It's Jeff Shaw. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that the crossover guy?
The crossover guy?
Jeff Shaw? Donny Cates?
Yeah, he did. Oh, yeah,
it's
the crossover
him and
guy.
Jeff Shaw, right?
Yeah. And
the art in the crossover look 10 times better.
And Guardians too, I think. The first couple issues, the one they get sucked in the black hole.
Oh, the Cates one?
Yeah.
You sure? It might be Corey Smith.
Maybe.
It's definitely some Corey Smith and maybe some Jeff Shaw.
I think that's the division of labor.
So it's split up there. And I'm partial to Corey Smith now, so I know that I really like to stuff in Guardians from that stuff. But I mean, the stuff shown in that series, what was that? 2017, 2018? It must have come out.
I think it's 19. It's a little more recent.
A couple of years ago, this Donny Cates run came out, so I guess Jeff Shaw's been around, but this is the worst I've seen his stuff. I can't believe how bad it looked in this comic.
Yeah, it's kind of phoned in.
Even if you look at the chains on this cover, right?
Yeah.
This
is a different artist entirely.
But this is my point.
These
chains, you look at Capullo's chains, good chains. Look at McFarlane's chains, good chains, right? If you open this issue, man, I'm going to borrow this for a second.
Okay.
There is a page in here that I might even pull up just to show you guys how lazy the art was. But the chains don't even look like chains. They just look like ropes. Just regular ropes. And there were some cool moments. I ain't going to take it away from this. And the demon bear shows up. Is that supposed to be tying into New Mutants or whatever? I don't know either. Look at that. Does that look like chains to you? It's like fire rope.
Yeah. It's very stringy. And there's some cool panels though.
I think you're just giving this guy the benefit of the doubt because he's working with 2 characters that are pretty easy to look cool.
Yeah.
Doesn't take a lot. So, would I say you're missing out by not buying this title? No.
No, I think you have to be a fan of both these characters
One or
and
the
want
other.
to read it.
Or one or the other, honestly. Yeah. If you're a Wolverine or a Ghost Rider guy, this is probably right up your alley. They're not making Ghost Rider.
And it's the same writers writing both of them. So if you like those books, just more of the same.
Yeah, Benjamin Percy handling it. We got Ryan Stegman on the cover.
Yeah.
But Ghost Rider and Wolverine are typically known for super character-driven, in-depth, really diverse, culturally dynamic comic books.
No, they're just cool.
They're just cool superhero dudes.
Yeah.
They're men in tights, more or less. So, well, in this case, in leather jackets and claws. So, reasons why it's good, reasons why it didn't quite make it onto the show here. But instead, we do have 2 comics on the show. One's actually from next week, Weekly Wednesday Warriors. You guys are getting a treat this week with our World's Finest number 18. It's over here. And then we're going to do this week's Guardians of the Galaxy number 5.
Yeah, and I got the Marco Cicchetto cover.
I don't know who the variant card artist does on this, but they
Pretty cool.
did a good job. I'll open this up and check while we start the summary up.
All right.
You want to do the summary here, Chris?
Sure.
Feel confident?
Yeah.
Before we get into it, I want to mention couple things. First of all, it's still the same team that's been doing it for the past 5 issues. That's Colin Kelly and
Jackson
Lansing, and then we have Kev Walker on the art, and we got Matt Hollingsworth on the colors, and they're doing a pretty good job. I wouldn't say it's like married or anything like that, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
In regards to this cover, is totally it's right here. It looks like it's Luciano Vecchio, or maybe. Yeah, it's probably Luciano Vecchio. Let's go with that. But yeah, and then the other thing I want to mention before we get into this, 2 things I want to mention before we get into this. One, Robo Groot, who's dead now,
Yeah.
so we're not going to get any more Robo Groot in this issue, but that was a huge thing in the last issue. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it was cool, and it was appropriately Groot. It would ask questions, and it would like make statements and get loud and get quiet, and all using those 3 key words. So it was pretty cool, and you have to imagine that like Rocket probably programmed the thing too.
Yeah.
So Rocket's programmed it to act like Groot and stuff, which is a weird twist and cool at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a big tribute page in the beginning of Guardians, the beginning of Avengers for John Romita Sr. Rest in peace, John Romita Sr. That man, if you don't know, is responsible for a lot of things. Mainly, what people are going to remember him for is Spider-Man.
Yeah. Creating Mary Jane, creating Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, who are characters that you could basically see in a lot of the romance books that he was drawing leading up to the Marvel stuff.
Oh yeah,
The big Marvel superhero stuff. A lot of his characters look pretty, he's got like a Bruce Timm kind of thing about him, right? He knows how to draw a character that's simple and you can copy it and still make it look good and still got
very
its own.
iconic.
It's got its own, it's still got its own image, even though it's fairly simple to draw.
Yeah, and just like a master of his craft.
Yeah,
page layouts were all great.
Yeah, and when I say Spider-Man, I really mean that's the tip of the iceberg. The man's drawn everything.
Yeah, one of the things I didn't know that they highlight in this is as art director, which I didn't know he did, but he designed the costumes for Wolverine and Punisher. So he has some like almost co-creation credits on 2 of the most popular characters of all time at Marvel Comics.
And not to mention his wife Virginia Ramita was also a huge background Marvel player. Like my friend Elliot called her the bullpen mom. If you needed anything done, she was the sweetheart to hook you up and help you out.
Yeah.
So big props to the Ramita family. Sorry for their loss. Hopefully John Ramita Jr. is doing okay. I'm sure he'll still keep drawing for the rest of us until he is also dead and buried and worshipped.
Jeez.
Anyway, more positive note. Guardians of the Galaxy number 5. The team is back together.
Yeah, last issue was a Rocket-focused issue. We're not going to get into it too much, but he's back on the team. Kind of unwillingly. Peter, and I also don't think we did issue 3. It doesn't matter. There's an issue where Peter goes on this hunt, and he meets Groot and has a conversation with him. And Groot says that they can talk things over if Rocket comes. So they go to get Rocket. We get this nice character exploration issue about Rocket. He's on the team. He doesn't want to be. He thinks Groot's gone. And that's where we begin the issue. Mantis kind of gives him a pep talk. And we kind of learn more about Mantis' deal, because she's been, changing personalities, which isn't too Mantis.
Would you say that is not the dumbest, but maybe the most uninspired thing they've done in this book so far? Because 5 issues in, I have not taken a single note on Mantis being weird.
No, it's just
apparently she's tripping through the multiverse.
Yeah, that's different variations for her, which honestly, until this issue, I noticed she changed, but they don't start really playing with it until this issue, where she starts going through all these different versions. And I would say it was lazy in past issues, and the reveal fell flat for me. Once they did reveal, I was having fun with all the different incarnations.
Yeah,
I think they're cool.
I don't think Kev Walker is doing a good job of drawing the different incarnations of this character either. And that's not to take anything away from Kev Walker. I think it's more to take away from the character that is Mantis, who to me is just a vanilla, F-list Marvel hero character. Yeah. If it wasn't for Guardians 2, she would still be in obscurity somewhere, not being utilized.
Yeah.
So, the character, as you said before, has really loose definition for that reason too. What are her powers? We don't really know necessarily.
Yeah, they're not the movie powers. I know she has other powers.
Very undefined, and so since they're undefined, the writing team can pretty much do what they want with this character.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what they're doing. It's just falling a little flat because there's no stability in the character to begin with.
Right. There's not like.
There's no basis.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Why do we care that she's different? Right?
No, we don't. It's a little distracting in the book, but it was in there in this issue. It was meant to be taken note of, and it's kind of confusing too because if you're tripping through the multiverse, how do you keep one mind?
I don't know.
I don't have questions for Marvel Science, so we're just gonna keep on trucking.
Yeah.
Was there a lot that even happened in this issue?
There's not too much.
Just a bunch of
They
arguing,
end up-
more or less, right?
Yeah, and then they end up back where we were in issue 2, which was like that, the contested space between those two places.
Right.
The war is like
Right.
still ongoing.
Right. In the what's the name of the whole area? That they're
The
in?
Manifold territory.
Right. So they're in the Manifold territory. There's a war happening, and after they argue for a little while, they're like, "We have to go and find Groot. There's about to be a Groot fall."
Man, just like inspires them.
They head over to it, right, and then there's mad Groots.
Yes, but also the two armies are still at war with each other.
That too. So there's a fight
So
going
there's, like-
on. There's a bunch of chaos going on.
Yeah.
It's basically in space.
They-
but also not in space.
They mostly assumed they'd be gone, I think, because Grootfall was coming, and we've known Grootfall was coming. So apparently they've been fighting all this time, because I think that was how issue 2 ended. So they go to find Groot, because they know he's going to be here, and then they're still fighting this thing.
They're trying
The
to tell
crazy
these
bastards.
people that Grootfall is coming. Grootfall is going to kill all of you, and
Yeah.
the two warring factions of the Manifold territory don't care.
No.
Like the Guardians go as far as to like communicate with them, like send comms over to them, communicate with the like robot people. The robot people are like, "We'll fight to the end," and even the like other crazy
The
Manifold
crab people.
are and whoever's on their team, it's a hodgepodge different species across the galaxy on that team are like, "No, we fight for the Manifold till the end." So these people are going to die. Grootfall's going to come. He's going to kill everybody that's left, and the Guardians have to like fight off Grootfall to try to help these people, even though they're warring to do that
Yes.
anyway.
I think by the end of the issue, they're about to be consumed by Groot.
Most of them are, in
Yeah.
fact, right? I know that Drax goes down. I
Yes.
know that who we just talked, Mantis goes down. I think Peter is the last. Peter and Rocket are like the last ones to go down. But I'm pretty sure the issue ends with them all being consumed. Then the next issue I think is called like "We Are Groot" or whatever.
And that's the big conversation issue, probably, when they finally talk to Groot or whatever.
Yeah. I could see this book ending next issue.
Yeah.
Which is surprising because although it might have hit like a couple speed bumps, this is a book that is good enough. I'd keep reading it for as long as they want to.
And it's a hot commodity right now. The third movie just came out. I feel like Marvel would want to be publishing.
They're hot
a Guardians book.
commodities. Usually, they're hot commodities leading up to the movies, and then after the movies, they want to kind of peter it out and then like focus on what they're going to be doing next. So
Right.
I don't know what the next Marvel movie is, but whatever it is.
Captain Marvel.
I was gonna say, let me look at my wall for a second. Oh yeah, Captain Marvel is
we have
lead.
Avengers right here.
Yeah, Captain Marvel's the lead on Avengers and also has her own run that
And
nobody's
also,
buying.
we had a big publicity stunt for Ms. Marvel
Ms.
by
Marvel,
killing
who's
her
going to
and
be in
making
that
her a
movie
mutant.
as well.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is very obvious when you think about it. Leading up to the movies, they do big stuff. After that, they try to peter it out and try to retain the audience to some degree. This is the example of them doing that. It's Guardians 5 here. I think we pretty much beat up this summary. This wasn't a complicated issue at all.
No.
The last two issues were more complicated. 4 and 3, we had all 3 of the like in between issues were more complicated.
I thought they were all great.
They were all character focused too. One was
The
for,
Rocket issue was like my favorite. I
Yeah,
think,
one
of
was
the run.
for Peter and Drax basically. That was like issue 2, and then like issue 3. What happened in issue 3? No, issue 2 was the Manifold Territories fight. They were trying to. So that was Drax.
Issue
and
3
Peter.
was the hunt.
Issue 3 was mostly Peter.
The Spartax hunt.
And then issue 4 was basically all Rocket.
Yeah.
Now issue 5 we're finally handling everybody else's problems and stuff. And like the problems of the other Guardians have been splashed in here too. Like Gamora's an alcoholic.
And Drax is Drax.
And Drax
Drax is like
seen pretty
defeated.
often. He's
and that was like
depressed
one of
or
my
something.
favorite lines from this book where Peter's trying to like tell the people to get away, and
Yeah.
Drax like they're gonna fight to the end for their honor, unlike me.
Yeah,
He says
yeah.
something like that.
He's real depressed, real
Yeah.
sad. We haven't figured that one out yet either.
And that's the only reason I think this book might continue. Is like one of the most interesting things about this book is the huge status quo shift all these characters have undergone,
Yeah,
like off panel, and
Yeah.
that's like some of the best stuff.
yeah. Or even on.
Panels of like Gamora, like alcohol's dripping out of her like mouth.
Yeah, she looks
She
like
like can't
Rex.
function. I don't think she does anything in this issue. She's
Um,
like out of it.
she says some smart stuff, I think.
Maybe.
I think she makes a call at somebody that's kind of rude, but it's smart anyway.
Yeah.
I like the continuing theme of they keep on breaking up Rocket and Groot.
Yeah.
Like, you want to play your Guardians audience, break up the team that everybody's there to be in the seats to watch and stuff, right? Not a bad idea. Yeah, here, Gamora says, Mantis made friends with a magic dress and had a full multiversal personality break, but we're the ones who need help because we don't want to talk about the worst days of our lives. Hilarious. So she drops the information. She's drunk off her ass. She's sleeping the panel prior.
Yeah.
But she wakes up and gives us, like, very
Exposition.
very non-drunk exposition, needed exposition.
Yeah.
So even though she's an alcoholic, she's very capable. So it is what it is. But, yeah, I really like the theme of, like, if you're not going to kill Rocky, you got to kill Groot. If you're not going to kill Groot, you got to kill Rocket. You can't leave those guys together for some strange reason, you know?
Yeah.
And like, we've gone through 3 different runs of Guardians, and they've done something like that in each of these runs of Guardians, which is cool. Issue 5, the band is back together. Now they have to play the big show, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of fun.
That
Like,
was my biggest bummer, though, because like what sold me on this book was kind of the Western theme, and
Yeah.
issue 5 really leaned into that, and we're kind of getting away from it now that we're back in the sci-fi cosmic horror element.
Yeah. I was trying to tell you earlier on that I didn't think it had that hard of a country, like a Western theme.
Yeah.
I saw it for sure, but I didn't see it like
It-
harshly, right?
It seems like a almost forgotten motif, like an original idea,
Yeah.
like the pitch they gave Marvel that evolved.
Yeah.
It
But
seems like we've gone away from that.
for all we know, maybe Groot's headspace is just a wide ass desert, and the next issue is going to be nothing but
Oh
like
yeah,
a literal
Gunslingers.
like a metaphorical representation of the old West within Groot's unconscious.
And we're also only assuming this book is going to end soon. It could just keep going on with Western stories.
we
in the
really do have a
galaxy.
lot to beat up. Like, we still don't know what happened at the proscenium.
Yeah.
That keeps on getting mentioned. We have no idea. So the book could definitely continue. I don't really have a lot of notes outside of that, besides to compliment Kev Walker and how similar he looks to Mike Mignola in a lot of these panels and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've seen Mignola draw Rocket Raccoon before too.
Yeah, he's
So,
a raccoon.
so to see Rocket Raccoon drawn by Kev Walker, it looks a lot like Mignola's stuff. This is seriously sweet art going on. The guy's got good layouts and panel to panel, it's no problem.
Yeah.
The book doesn't take a single like
And it's
beat
super
away.
energetic too.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a palpable energy in his art,
How
and
about
that
the-
carries over into
How about the
paneling.
9-panel grid with Mantis?
Yeah,
right?
that was sweet.
Like, even though the whole like reveal was a dead drop, the 9-panel grid, you get 9 different versions of Mantis right there, and it's pretty seemingly, and it's all on one page, and it's really stunning.
Yeah.
So good work over there. Good work by the team. Everybody's doing their job and stuff. And Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing are writing a bunch of stuff right now. They're still doing the Cap stuff. Still
We just
doing the
talked
Star
about their
Trek
Batman
stuff.
Beyond.
They just restarted Batman Beyond, and they're doing Guardians.
Yeah.
So, and that's all the stuff I know about. There may be 1 or 2 things I don't.
And like the quality isn't dropping anywhere.
2
All the stuff
hours
is
now.
quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, Star Trek could be garbage. I
I'm
guess.
sure it's not. But in any case, I think that basically beats this one up.
Yeah. Just to quickly brush on it, we
Yeah.
continue the running motif. The Guardians is a burning crash of fire. I love that. There's a great line from Drax where he's like, Peter Quill is always crashing. Sometimes he just misses the ground.
Yeah, and there's the quote I have here in my notes that I didn't say is what they were was a fire. I think the issue like kind of opens up with that again,
Yeah.
which is almost a retelling of what happens in the first issue.
We've been playing that motif for a while.
And-
It's just great.
And the narrator, I'm pretty sure, is still the same narrator from issue 1.
Yeah.
That dude who's on the Manifold Territories that thinks a lot of Peter Quill, who's wrong. Moving right on?
Yeah.
Cool.
Go
We already
for it.
held our covers up. We did it.
World's Finest 18.
Pretty sweet cover.
Gotta show off Dan
It's
Moore.
the only
whenever
day I
we
was
can.
going to say it's the only Dan Moore art we're going to get in this whole chapter. I will try to do a summary here. I'm going to fail though because I barely remember what even happens in this book. So let me see if I can like refresh my memory by opening up the first page here. So we have right. Okay. is menacing Superman for some reason.
Yeah.
And first and foremost, very important, this story, if this is World's Finest,
This is a
Batman
prequel to the
Superman.
prequel.
Right, if this is World's Finest Batman Superman, right? World's Finest is known as like a more traditional comic book for these characters. This is before World's Finest, basically. This is before they become World's Finest. They're not fine yet. They're rough around the edges, you would say. So, more accurately, this is supposed to be, and they say it somewhere in here, right after Batman's famous Year One, which I have so many problems with this title because they said that in this book.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that. So this is right after Year One. Batman's established himself, but not quite cemented, right? So he's
There's
still,
no bat signal.
He's
but
got
he has a relationship.
He's got a relationship with Jim Gordon. Probably bat signal next week.
Yeah.
Superman is being dragged over. He's established himself as Superman as Clark Kent at the Daily Bugle Planet, and so there's a news article that comes in that is saying that somebody left a message in the news says somebody left a message. It's in some weird dialect nobody understands. Front page of the Daily Planet. Clark reads it, and goes, "I know this language. It's Kryptonese."
Yeah.
Weekly Wednesday Warriors, I swear on my life,
It's Kryptonian.
it's Kryptonian, okay? I don't know what drug Mark Waid is taking these days.
Perhaps.
He's over the age of 50, so it's probably something to do with pancreas cancer or something.
Oh my God.
Who knows? Whatever it is affecting him negatively, and he's starting to go buck wild, okay? There's only so much of the stuff that he throws in this book that I can swallow and just keep trucking, right? But, like, Kryptonese, bro?
It's possible that was its original name. That's because that's just a Mark Waidism. He's like, this is what I remember. It's what I'm going to call it. Like, even Metamorpho, it's like a big pet peeve of his that Metamorpho can only use the elements in a human body. This is something I heard him talk about.
Yeah.
So, like, he gets mad when he turns into, like, I don't even know a good example, uranium.
Yeah.
He's like, no, he can't do that. He's
Yeah.
like, he's very traditional about these things.
But
so
if
who
he
knows?
was, wouldn't he be keeping cell phones out of his World's Finest comics? The man makes no sense, and it drives me up a wall. But as I say, every time when I get this book, this man is the heel of comic books right now. I want to hate him. I love hating him, and he's making me hate him. And if that's his job, and it sells the book, then he's doing a good job. And he is selling the book, and I'm buying it. So here we are. Okay, the work here is very consistent in the most inconsistent ways, because he's inconsistencying everything that has come before him. But he's keeping consistency in his own format. He's not dropped anything he's established so
Right.
far. Again, a beat of a good writer. You don't have to look at the stuff that'll come before you, as long as you keep what you're writing fairly consistent with the living
And
story.
while he's kind of in continuity, this is kind of his own corner of things. Both this and the Teen Titans book, so
Yeah.
he can kind of do what he wants.
Yeah, who's to say this isn't an Elseworlds book?
Yeah, it's not stepping on anyone's toes by
So-
making Kryptonese.
So, Kryptonese, and Clark finds that out because here he knows he's got his Fortress of Solitude. He's established himself. He knows where he comes from and stuff. He can read the stuff for some reason. I don't really like. Why would you ever need to learn how to read Kryptonian as a baby when he got here? But another one. We're just gonna swallow. Keep on trucking. So of course Batman's got to get involved because Batman could probably also read Kryptonian. I don't know.
Maybe.
Why not? Who knows? It's a Mark Waid comic. I'm just gonna say shit.
And also, this is a crime in Gotham, and like people are disappearing in Gotham.
Right, that was another beat is that Batman's been working on is the disappearance of a bunch of people. And then in the process of him following this beat from the Riddler that we're going to find out, following this beat with the disappearance, Alfred disappears.
Yeah.
So Superman shows up to talk to Batman somewhere.
He goes to talk to Jim Gordon, I think, and Batman is watching.
Batman's watching him, and so they have their first meetup, which traditionally does not go well. But this is a Mark Waid comic book
So they're
where
friends.
everything is goddamn happy-go-lucky, and there couldn't be a wrong thing on the planet. So they're friends from the get-go. They are so friendly. Even I'd say that was very un-Batman Like, he was like, yeah, bro, what's good? How you doing, dude?
I find it refreshing. I don't know.
I'm so happy to work with you.
Yeah, he like, and like, you see him in the manor when he invites him over.
That's
He's
the
super
next
chummy.
one. Right, so like, okay, so later on, right, a little bit of detective work from Superman, find out Kryptonian, what the messages mean, the riddles, they try to de-riddleize them and stuff, right? Little detective work from Batman, he's trying to find the Riddler, he's trying to figure out who put him up to this, because Riddler doesn't speak Kryptonian, obviously, right?
Yeah, and I believe the Riddler isn't established yet.
And we got a couple of side panels that go to the Riddler, and we find out the Riddler is being dragged into this by somebody. And not only that, but he's basically being tortured to do his whole Riddler shtick.
Yeah.
So, Batman shows up. No, he calls Clark. Clark shows up at Wayne Manor. I don't
Yes.
remember how it happens, because I know that this was a surprise. Oh, Bruce called Clark to do an interview of Bruce Wayne about the disappearances in Gotham.
Yeah. Because his butler disappeared.
Clark shows, well, I don't think Clark knows that showing up. He just says, I want to help you do an interview or whatever.
Okay.
And, because that would have been the authorities who would have called, theoretically, not the Daily Planet.
Right.
So he calls Clark, and then Clark walks in, and a panel later, Bruce undresses him, more or less.
Yeah.
It's like, you're Superman.
Well, he's
you're-
showing him like the flight pattern.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
you're-
this is my
you're
hobby.
You're Superman, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
You go to two places exclusively and you never eat. Your radiation paths are only in two places. And I can tell whose places those are by who owns the residence and where they work. You're clearly Superman, don't play with me. And Superman's like, I'm not Alright, you got me. And so they go
And
down.
Batman like lets him find out.
And
he's
here's
Batman.
what another portion that really drives me up a wall. Yeah, he goes and just like turns the classic clock to the number that it needs to go to, and unveils the door to the Batcave, and him and Clark just go down to the Batcave, all willy-nilly, all happy-go-lucky. Things are going freaking great, even though Alfred's disappeared.
Yeah.
So that is the only beat that lets me like swallow this, no problem, keep reading.
That Alfred's disappeared.
If Bruce loses his Alfred a month after year one, probably one of the
Right.
most stressful times in his life, trying to cement what he's doing, and it's ridiculous. He's running around beating up criminals
Yeah.
as a bat.
There's definitely a line in this issue where Alfred still doesn't approve. of the
Which
whole thing.
is confusing, because if I remember reading year one, Alfred was there helping him the whole time.
Yeah.
And not being disapproving as much as being careful, cautious, and advisory.
I think Alfred gets like 3 lines that whole
So again, I'm getting mixed signals from Mark Waid, but I got to keep on trucking here. But what I can justify is Bruce is not in his right mind,
Yeah.
and he's not old enough in being Batman that he's like cemented who
He's
Batman
not the
is. either.
paranoia. He doesn't have the paranoia yet, probably.
Right.
Either.
He's not. None of his Robins have been killed. You know, this is the first death he's dealing with theoretically since his parents. Is now Alfred has disappeared. So I can see him kind of losing his thing and going, I need help. There's no one else that can help me other than this guy. The only way I can get him to help me is by telling him.
And in this very Mark Waid Silver Agey world, people aren't really afraid of Superman. That's a like modern age beat that people like are wary of Superman when he first shows up.
Yeah.
That, like he's this alien. Everyone kind of trusted him.
Yeah, they don't think he's an alien. They just think he's a Superman.
Yeah.
That's his whole gimmick. So those two are going to hang out. They're going to figure out who's doing this, or figure out who's threatening the Riddler and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're in the Batcave and they're doing their thing. And I think that's about the end of the summary. Oh, they do go on a little team up in the middle of
Yeah.
this
And
issue.
we find out who is tormenting the Riddler. It's this guy Jack Sir, who I've never heard of, but he's a Phantom Zone prisoner.
Yes, but who finds out?
Well, they find the Riddler.
We
They
as the
find him
Riddler?
by getting they get another clue that leads Batman and Superman to it. I forget what the clue is, but Batman figures out his riddle.
Something to do with names?
It was addresses.
Addresses.
He like does something. It's on the left side, I remember. It gets into the addresses. It's on
Right,
the left side of Gotham.
The riddle is on a monument, like a
It's-
World Trade Center
yes.
monument, and it's on the left side.
And it's like 728, and Superman's like, is it a year? And he's like, kind of.
No, it's like the name of
It's
a
an
boat
address.
or something. Yeah, it's an
and
address.
it leads them to a dock.
But then, yeah, but he also makes reference to a boat, and then it's like it's going to be on the port side. I don't know how he pulls the boat thing. These are the most unclear riddles I've ever been delivered in Batman comics in my life, by the way. But usually I'm able to, like, figure them
not very
out
simple.
somewhat. It's not even that they're simple. I don't think that they're very good. Especially the second one. The second one didn't seem like a
He
riddle.
was really reaching to get the.
The second one didn't seem like a riddle as much as it seemed like something only Batman and Superman could figure out
Yeah.
together.
And also, like, it could be the Riddler, like, crying for help almost. Because it's pretty obvious. He's, like, leading them to it, you know? It could be an obvious riddle intentionally, or a paranoid obvious riddle. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt with that
I
one.
don't
Because
know.
of the state of mind Riddler's in.
Um,
And the end of the issue is this Phantom Zone prisoner switches places with Batman, sends him to the Phantom Zone so he can become whole again. And I guess he must be doing this a lot, because I guess that's why people are disappearing. We'll find out next issue. We don't really know.
what I think is, I think Jack Sir
Yeah.
is not stupid. And I think he had a plan to trap both Batman and Superman. Again, this is a Silver Age story. Why wouldn't the villain have a plan to trap both of our superheroes?
Right.
I think he had a plan to trap both Man and Superman and Batman. The Batman side was, I'm going to start making people disappear in Gotham.
Okay.
He's going to drag Batman into it. Then he gets Riddler, who's going to drag Batman into it further, and also the Kryptonian dragged Superman into it.
Yeah, but-
therefore putting them together.
Again, I could have sworn they don't know who Riddler is yet. I'm pretty sure. I think they mentioned this as like a new wave of crime.
I really hope that that's not the case. No, there's no way. As soon as they open this up, they're like, it's the Riddler. Almost as soon as they open it up. You got any notes while I'm looking through this stuff?
Not
Yeah, here.
particularly.
It's so this is page 1, right?
Yeah.
Here's page 2. We got Jimmy Olsen. He says, "Boy, Gotham's a mess. First of all, this disappearance. Now some crook called the Riddlers left the cops with this." So that
It's
means
early days, but I guess he hasn't showed up yet.
And Daily Planet, Jimmy Olsen doesn't know who the Riddler is.
Yeah.
But Batman knows who the Riddler is. Spider.
Okay, cool.
Right. So I think that about wraps up the summary, more or less.
Okay.
I think the real importances of this. Oh, want to point this out to the Weekly Wednesday Warriors. Usually, this is in like color.
Yeah.
They went black and white for this, I think, to try and really sell the fact that this is an early appearance of Batman, Superman.
Perhaps trying to invoke like a serial type vibe.
Yeah, and even if you look at their costumes too, which I should have mentioned, Travis Moore, somebody more.
I definitely wrote that.
There's a lot of Moores. Travis Moore is doing some really good costume work, design work to really sell this across and stuff.
I think he's no Dan Mora, but he's very solid.
No, yeah, he's a great fill-in.
Yeah.
I got no problems. I'm
Every
pretty
issue he's done.
Isn't he the dude on Titans anyway? Isn't Travis Moore the
Maybe.
main
I feel like
artist on Titans?
If it is, he's going for a Somni thing real hard.
Yeah.
But it could be him.
I think it is him, and I think it's just really close.
Okay.
So we're further back in time, but we have tablets.
Yeah.
We have tablets and cell phones. And we have Kryptonese. What else do I got here? They go. There's a little mini portion in here where they go to beat up Magpie and Spellbinder after Spellbinder and Magpie. Spellbinder. I wrote down Spellbinder. That can't be right. Isn't that a Batman Beyond villain?
Oh.
Right? Isn't Spellbinder? It totally
I
says
don't
Spellbinder here, though.
I don't remember them from Batman Beyond, but I
Right.
also not the world's...
Spellbinder's the dude with the red swirl on his thing.
Oh, what?
Yeah, dude. There's 2 Spellbinders. I had no idea.
I guess they must have
and Magpie.
reinvented an old character?
Yeah, they did a good job because he's way better at Batman.
Yeah. Well, he's a real friend.
They mentioned me and Chris already talked. This happens after year 1. If you read year 1, this is not the same Bruce Wayne. These are 2 different Bruce Waynes.
No, he's much more cheery, happy-go-lucky.
Which is fine. Again, just swallow it. I can't stress enough how like Mark Waid is not writing for your typical Batman fan. He's writing for the guys that want to read Silver Age comics.
Yeah.
Like remember Batman the way they used to.
Honestly, it's working for me. I think it's a great book.
It's fun. I'm still reading it too. I have to comment on these things every time I see it because
Right.
it is the only book doing it on the wall. In the series, in any Batman comic that's coming out right now.
And, like, this is the only one you can do it in.
Even
So-
Brave and the Bold, you could do it in. Even Brave and the Bold is not doing anything close to this.
You could, but Brave and the Bold's doing some weird crap.
Brave and the Bold's it's basically the Urban Legends book from the past couple of years.
Yeah, just
but
with, like,
a different
one more
title.
character. Superman's in it instead of
Yeah.
just Wildcats.
Yeah, so in the book he does say I prefer to work alone, so I guess Mark Waid's trying to throw us a bone here and there. In Wayne's distress, he calls Clark in. That is the only way that I could justify that whole thing. And then Jack Sir hired Enigma to trap Batman and Superman. So that's pretty much the whole of the issue. I don't really have a whole lot to say outside of it was good. I think in regards to like buying this comic, why would you buy it? Why was it good? It was good because it's really consistent. The art is really consistent, even though it's got a fill-in artist. The covers are phenomenal. It's very close to DC. If you're a DC fan too, as well, this is delivering DC stuff,
And the
just like a Justice League book would. And there's no Justice League book at the moment.
Right, yeah. And just like, this is the thing Mark Waid really wants to get away from these books. He wants to tell you stories you've never seen before, mostly taking out villains you've never seen, characters in different situations. So you're seeing some stuff you're not going to see anywhere else.
Yeah.
Some characters you'll
Like
probably never
the
see
Key,
again.
Magpie.
Yeah.
He's doing a good job.
I
of
think you'd see Magpie, like the Key, I've never heard of them. Spellbinder.
Well, you say that you've never. I've seen Key a bunch of times. I've seen Magpie a bunch of times.
Okay.
But that's just because I've got a long lot of Batman history of comics that I've read. So, these are, and like Weird Dan Abnett loves using the Key. You read about enough Dan Abnett stuff, he shows up. The Key's actually a cool villain, as you can tell from him, but he doesn't get utilized that often. So yeah, I mean, you pick up the book because it's the Batman Superman book.
And on every other issue, Dan Moore is killing on the
Dan
art.
Moore is
He's
absolutely killing.
crazy.
He's one of the best artists in the game. And Tamara Bonvillain on the colors too. On every issue, they or he, I still don't know if that's a man or a woman. Should look that up, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
But they're doing a good job, which helps with the fill-in and stuff.
And they elevate every artist, like just the pink they add to skin. It just everything's so appeasing.
Yeah.
And adding to that bright, cheery Silver Age feel, the pink skies, the bright blues.
Yeah.
Even in Gotham, it's like a little green.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So
looks great.
why did I buy this book? It's the best Silver Age book on the wall. It's one of the better Batman Superman books. It's basically your substitute for a Justice League book at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's going to show you a bunch of cool stuff, cool art. Guardians, similar reasons, I'd say.
Good art.
It's one of the best team books Marvel's got going.
Might be the best.
It is showing us a bunch of different characters, not just the Guardians, but a bunch of different cosmic characters and stuff.
A lot of the ones you haven't run into too.
We're divulging into a portion of Marvel's toolbox that we don't usually do, which Chris has mentioned before. All this cosmic stuff and going into space and making it seem important and have some weight to it. So it's the best cosmic book on the wall for Marvel, maybe. It's the best team book for Marvel on the wall, maybe. The guys who are writing this are writing a bunch of other things, so if you wanted to see, how their writing style is, you could try out a Marvel book, which is a lot easier to get into than maybe a Trek book or one of the other things that they're doing.
Right, Batman Beyond. These
Beyond.
things have long backlogs of canon. Guardians, you can
Guardians,
get right in, watch the
pick it up.
movies, you'll know these
And
characters.
if you like these guys, definitely pick up their other titles because they're doing just as good of a job as anything else. So just, two great books, two really good reasons to pick them up, support the industry, and if you like Avengers, that's a good reason to pick up the Ray Avengers book, and if you like Wolverine or Ghost Rider, that's a good reason to pick that book up as well. But other than that, I think we're about done here. Chris, what would you say?
Yeah, we can cut now.
Cool, man. Stay tuned to our August Shonen Jump coming,
20th anniversary.
hopefully in like a week or two, hopefully not at the end of the month again. But check out the July one, which actually has the most views so far for some strange reason.
Oh, that's great.
It's also our shortest and the most uninteresting. So thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on the Weekly Wednesday Warrior. Take care.
Have a good one.